Jonathan Meister is suing the Hawthorne Police Department for excessive force and police brutality after they beat him to the point where he was unconscious. So this all started one night when he was moving boxes out of a home that he used to live in, and in the process of doing so, a neighbor reported him because they thought that maybe it was a burglar or something. Well, the cops show up, and after that happens, they confront him. Now keep in mind that Jonathan Meister is deaf, and he's also nonverbal. So he tried to communicate with them with his hands, and in the process of doing so, the cops thought, hey, you know what, he's trying to resist arrest, or he's trying to do something, some sudden movement to resist arrest. So they wanted to handle the situation in a different way. As you can imagine, there was some force used. Now, he was on an opposite end of the fence. They asked him to come around. He did come around. He started using his hands, and as soon as he started using his hands, this is what he alleges happened. Police allegedly pushed Meister up against a wall, put him in a chokehold, and then kneed him twice in the abdomen. Meister was punched in the face repeatedly and shot with taser darts. He was thrown to the ground. Officers kicked and elbowed Meister repeatedly while he was being shocked a second time with a taser. After a third taser shock, he was finally unconscious, and officers arrested him. Now, they had charged him with resisting arrest, but I'm sorry, assaulting police officers. He was assaulting police officers.
No, he was. He was assaulting their fist with his face.
Yeah, but those charges were later dropped.
Oh, really?
Probably after they realized he was deaf.
Right. So I'm actually mixed on this. I don't know what it is with me in defending Hawthorne police officers, right? They were also the guys with that shot the dog, and I defended them. Look, if you're a cop and you got a report that somebody's stealing stuff, and then you see them putting stuff into the car, and you tell them to stop, and they don't stop, I get why you would be like, whoa, what's going on here, and be in a hostile situation. Now, don't get me wrong. Do they go too far? Obviously. The guy was helping his friend move stuff, so obviously it'd be a stretch to think that he was resisting. In fact, they didn't even charge him with resisting arrest. They charged him with assaulting an officer, right? So, and by the way, if he did, it's only probably to defend himself, because he's like, whoa, what the hell? Why are people attacking me, right?
So they immediately resorted to force. And remember, I told you guys that he came around the fence, right? As soon as the officers reacted in that way, when he started trying to use sign language, he jumped over the fence to protect himself. And at that point, the cops thought he was trying to resist arrest. But he was trying to use his hands. And look, I can totally understand how there was a misunderstanding, because that's not the first thing that comes to your mind. We got to keep it real. It's not the first thing that would come to my mind if I were a cop or if I was dealing with anyone in any situation, right? But at the same time, the cops refused to admit that they handled that situation inappropriately, and they refused to admit that they need more training when it comes to dealing with these types of disabilities. In fact, they released a statement. Here's what they said. This was not the case of police officers not accurately assessing or mishandling the deaf individual. Really? They also said this was a case of Meister, a 31-year-old, 6'3", 205-pound ex-collegiate rugby player with accompanying physical skill sets, willfully and physically resisting and fighting uniformed Hawthorne police officers conducting a felony investigation, which he was the suspect of, and no verification for his innocence had been achieved.
What? You didn't give the guy a chance. You started kicking his ass. How the hell could he verify that he was innocent when he's deaf and you tasered him 3 times from the get-go? Okay, so I love how they portrayed him as like Liam Neeson.
I know, I was like,
he's got a special skill set that is appropriate for this situation. Okay, listen, dude, he wasn't taken. Okay, but nonetheless, look, did they go too far? Yes. Okay, and their claims are absurd. I'm with you there, Anna. But look, a guy comes around the corner, and then he won't respond, and then he runs, right? So if they tackled him, and then in the midst of that tackling, he got a bruise here, and he fights back, understandable, because he doesn't understand what's going on, and they got a taser once, or a punch happens, whatever. I can understand. So but yeah, again, the 3 times tasing, and every time they're like, "Oh, he's physical. He's a big guy."
Yeah, whatever.
No,
he was such a threat, right? Several police officers on one guy, and he was such a threat. Let me just jump in. Like, the defiant nature of their response makes me realize that they don't want to be trained when it comes to dealing with people with disabilities. So they immediately lose me, right? If they are so defiant and they think that they handle that appropriately, that means that there's something fundamentally wrong with that police department. Another thing is, okay, so let's say say you didn't know and he was resisting arrest, you did see him as a threat. You tased him once. Why did they knee him in the abdomen several times and then tase him 3 times to the point where he was unconscious? That doesn't make any sense to me either. So even if he weren't deaf, even if there wasn't a misunderstanding and he was resisting arrest, it was still excessive force in my book.
Yeah. It's just a little bit more understandable than the more egregious cases we usually cover, right?
Yeah, well, we've covered some crazy ass cases, so
That's
I
true.
guess, sure, in comparison, this isn't as bad.